Welcome to See You Next Tuesday. I'm Jade Chung. Thank you so much for joining me again. The amount of support I've received just from my first episode was super overwhelming. I cannot thank you guys enough. With that said, I'm pretty much just jumped into this. It was terrifying. It still is terrifying to me. I truly appreciate you listening, subscribing, retweeting, talking about it. Thank you so much, guys. On today's episode, I will be talking about my journey into wrestling. So mainly focusing on how I got started. I started training in my last year of high school, which was, it was called OAC here in Ontario, which is grade 13. I was the last year that they offered grade 13, and then the next year they cut it, and grade 12 was the highest grade. So I had gone through my very first breakup, my first love, and I was in this deep depression. I pretty much locked myself in my room for 3 straight months. I would only come out to, have meals with my family, and that was it. And it wasn't until my mom called my cousin to ask me to come or ask her to come and take me out. And I'm very thankful for that, because since my cousin dragged me out of the house, I started to let go a little bit. But there was always a piece of strength that I couldn't get back. It wasn't until I started wrestling training. A whole bunch of people kept telling me, you should go train. There's not very many girls in Ontario. At this time, it was just Tracy Brooks, Angel Williams, and Gail Kim. And that was it. So Ontario needed more girls. So I said, okay, let's do this. I love wrestling. Why not just try it? I mean, what could I lose? I am so thankful I had wrestling, because it helped me come out of my shell. It helped me get my confidence back. And because of wrestling, and I don't know how, because of wrestling, I was able to just get out there on my own. From there, I started traveling to shows for BCW, Border City Wrestling. And I had gone to the Michigan show at the Diamondback. And I just, of course, when you travel, you always bring your stuff with you. And I was lucky enough to be there because Scott D'Amore came up to me and he's like, "Do you have your stuff?" I said, "Of course." He's like, "Great." And I said this in my last podcast, but he's like, "Great, you're going to be coming out with Shane Douglas tonight." And that's basically how I got my start. I had like little shows here in Ontario, but it was more showcases. It wasn't a show, like a company that would put on regular monthly shows. And from there I started, and that's where I pretty much bloomed in the States. I didn't really make a name for myself here in Canada, which I do consider myself very lucky, because wrestling was where it's at in the States. I started at a very young age. Like I said, as soon as I graduated high school, I bolted and I started traveling, and I left for the States. I was only home, during the week to kind of reset my visit in the States. Back then, the border, it was, it was tough, but they weren't as tough as they have been. So I'd travel all over Michigan and Ohio. It was so much fun. I regret absolutely nothing. I had a ton of fun. I was able to manage so many different personalities, having to mold myself to fit their personality. I feel truly helped my character. So starting off at such a young age, I was pretty blessed on how I carried myself. That sounds super strange, but I was always brought up to be always respectful, to carry yourself professionally and not like an animal. Sometimes I do think back and say to myself, I can't believe you just up and left at like 17, 18 years old on your own, driving a gazillion miles just to get to these shows. And I'm super proud of myself. And you know what? I have a podcast now, so I can I can sing my praises because that's a lot for a teenager. And not only that, but like you go through all these life lessons that no one is really there. Like my parents weren't there physically with me to be like, hey, no, that's wrong. You know, I had to learn it on my own. And trust me, I went through a lot of trial and error. I'm not saying anything specific, but just having to learn these things on your own. For example, like changing a flat tire on your own because you're on the road and, you know, you're on your 4-hour drive all by yourself with no help. So you got to learn this stuff. Not only that, but you got to learn that not everybody likes you. That was a hard pill to swallow because I'm a super nice person, and it sucked knowing that there's people out there that just do not like you because of your position. And by that, I mean, because I started off managing, girl managers back then were not highly thought of at all. And for me, that just made me want to prove something to everybody. Managing, I loved managing. I didn't care what anybody said. Managing was my absolute favorite thing to do, and I worked hard on being the best manager. I just didn't walk out with a wrestler. Like, I always made sure that that wrestler would shine, you know, and that I wouldn't take the spotlight away from him. And that's, you know, that's part of your job as a manager, is not only to let your wrestler shine, but also not to take the shine away from them. I will get more into, you know, my whole entire life on the road and leading up to the now. But, you know, I've got a ton of episodes to get through. Today, though, I really want to focus on the early years and getting in and focusing on, you know, young girls that got into wrestling at that time, at, you know, the 2003 time, and how hard and difficult it was for females back then, in Canada specifically. My guest today started at a young age, and I cannot wait to hear her story. Guys, I am so excited. Alexia Nicole, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Of course. So, you know, I was just talking about how I started in the business like super young. Like pretty much I finished high school and then I was like off to the States. Like I just left. Now, I mean, you're still very young now. So I just want to know, like, I don't even really know your entire story. And I'm sure you've talked about it, you know, with either other interviews that you've had, but I honestly, and this makes me sound terrible, but I don't know your story. Like, how did you just start training, and how old were you?
So I started training, I was 15. I was way too young.
Wow.
I was really young. I tried to start earlier. I have been bugging my parents since I was about like 13. I'm like, I really want to do this. Please let me do this. I don't want to do anything else. Like my brother and sister had played different sports. My brother was like a team sports kind of kid, and my sister was super into gymnastics. And I kind of floundered between like things that I liked doing, but I also did them because my parents were like, well, you need to do something. And it wasn't really my choice to do them. So I was like, this is what I want to do. Forget about everything else. And I just really kept bugging them until they took me one day so I could see Squared Circle where I started training.
Okay.
And yeah, and then even at the time, Rob Fuego, he's like, yeah, you're a little young. So he didn't let me start until the Taylor Wilde had an all girls, like a couple months of training with just girls. So he didn't let me start till then. So that's where it started.
And that's great, you know, because sometimes a lot of trainers, they take advantage of females, you know, and especially when someone as young as you coming to approach, that just makes my heart happy. And I know Rob's a good guy, but that just made my heart happy knowing that he was like, you know what, you're too young, come back later. And that's great that he started you off in an all-female class. I mean, I think it's great.
Yeah, it was super great, and it was helpful because like it got me over the nerves of trying something new. Just being with a small group of girls that were all also trying something new. And Rob especially, like, I'm so lucky. I didn't even realize how lucky I was to have him as a trainer, because he was so nice and so like fatherly and not creepy in any kind of way at all.
Yeah.
And I didn't,
Even his voice, like he's like soft spoken, right? So it's like it just
yeah,
makes you comfortable.
he's super comforting, like not weird to be around at all. Like he's really welcoming. And I didn't realize how lucky I was up until like everyone started coming out about like how trainers can be so awful sometimes.
Yeah.
It was so shocking to me.
So you were an all-female class. How, like, did it last for, like, it was just all females for, let's say, like a year? Or like, when did you start going to like co-ed classes?
It was, I think it was September to January. It wasn't long. It was only once a week. But I think January, I'm pretty sure, is when I started doing the main classes with everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a super long experience.
Did you find it hard? Like, was there anything challenging or any differences in the all-female class and a co-ed class?
I think the biggest difference was like I was the test dummy as soon as I started co-ed classes, because I was smaller than the smallest guys. I was lighter than everybody. So whenever there was literally a day where we practiced suplexes and different kinds and how to get into them, and everyone tried them on me just to make sure they could do it.
Damn. So then how sore were you?
I was always bumping around in training. It was awful.
Oh no. So starting in the business so young, were there any hard, and I'm talking like now you've started shows and everything, were there any hard lessons that you learned in the beginning?
A couple. Like definitely one of the first things I learned was it's gonna be hard to get work as a girl, at least around the time that I had started wrestling, because at that time you got one women's match per show, if you were lucky, and you were given maybe 5 to 8 minutes to do something, and it was always like, okay, go out there, look cute, do something fun, come back. It was really hard to get noticed because nobody cared still. It was very early on, well, not even early, but like it was pre this whole woman's evolution of wrestling.
Right. So I didn't really get my start here in Canada, and it was over in the US for me, but I started mainly managing. So it was a whole different scene. For here, you like went right to it. You were wrestling and everything. Was it hard for you to get booked?
Oh yeah. Like I would get booked at Squared Circle, because not even regularly. Like I would get booked there occasionally just because like there's only like a few girls that you have there and you kind of got to rotate through them. And just in general, like it was really hard to get bookings for a while, up until I was in my 20s. It was hard.
Oh my God, up until your 20s,
yeah,
you're so
I know,
young.
I know. But I mean, I guess I started doing shows at 17, so it was like 3 years of. It was hard to get work. I was young. I was a girl, and yeah, like no one really knew what to do with me.
Yeah. Wow. Later on, you did make your way to the States, right?
Yeah.
And was it singles or did you only tag?
Yeah, it was with Aaliyah. We were tagging a lot. But so we started off, the first thing I ever did in the States, we tagged, and it was just a random small show in Detroit. I wish I even remember the name of the promotion. But we started there, and then she had been trying to get me at AIW for a while, but John Thorne was like, no, she's too young, because I was 3 years younger than her, and she was like 19 at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it took, once I finally got booked more, especially by him in the States, it was always either against her or teaming with her. So most of my like US work earlier was me and Aaliyah just either wrestling each other or tagging.
Yeah. I was going to ask like if you found it wrestling in the States different from Canada, but since you were basically either wrestling or wrestling with Aaliyah, there wasn't really any difference that you felt, right?
Yeah, like we worked a couple, like I worked a couple with different people, but well, that sounded weird. I worked with a couple different people. But we worked so much together that it was just kind of like we just really carried over whatever we were doing here
Yeah.
to over there.
I'm just so fascinated because, well, you just said, oh, it wasn't until I, hit my 20s. It's just like hit me in the face. I'm just like, holy cow. I can't believe you started training so early. You started training at 15, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when I started. I think it was like right before I graduated. So you were way younger than I was. You've got balls. Like that's something pretty scary. Like I was pretty scared getting into it. Did you have any nerves at all, or were you just like, this is what I wanted to do and this is what I'm gonna do?
I think I was just so like, this is what I want to do. And because my parents were so like hesitant about it, I was extra more like, this is what I want to do. I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to prove to them that I can do it. Um, which is weird because now I get scared about everything.
Oh,
So I don't know what happened. Like I lost my fearlessness at some point.
like recently, like few years recently?
I'd say like within the past like couple of years, I've definitely started to realize how dangerous wrestling is.
Now, do you find that because of the style has changed now?
Yeah, I guess so. Because like again, when I started wrestling, no one expected anything from
Right.
most
Yeah.
girls. So I was wrestling like pretty safely. I was doing things that I thought were fun and cool, but all like compared to now, I don't think I do most of the stuff just because it seems so basic.
Now, were your parents in the beginning supportive?
Not really.
No, yeah.
No, they were. If I had to prove that I could do it to them because they were very like, okay, we'll let you try. Like after they had finally done talked into it, we'll let you
Mhm.
try it, but you have to keep your grades up because they had to pay for wrestling school. I couldn't afford it at the time.
Yeah.
I don't think I even had a job at that point. So I had to prove to them that I could do it and I could keep my marks up while doing it. So they weren't supportive until they saw that I was doing well. And then once I got hurt, they're like, oh, you need to stop. You're going to get hurt again. I'm like, no, I'm not going to stop. I've already worked so hard.
Oh,
Yeah. They've gotten better. Their biggest worry is whenever I get hurt. They like my mom she'll come to watch a match and she'll close her eyes the entire time.
oh no. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I get why she gets worried.
Yeah.
So, which brings me to my next question. What injuries have you gotten from wrestling?
So shoulder is like the big one. I've dislocated both my shoulders. It's terrible. I can't even count how many times. I went to the doctor a couple of days ago because I've been trying to see like what's going on, how I can fix it, especially with all the time off. And he
Hmm.
asked, and I'm like, honestly, I have no idea how many times it's been. Um, and he gave me like this disappointing look that doctors give when you do something you're not supposed to.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's like the biggest thing. I've had surgery on it a couple times and it still comes out, but there's nothing like he even said he's like you can either do physio for the rest of your life or you can get another surgery to sort of repair all the old damage.
oh,
I
I did
Yeah.
not know you had two surgeries on it.
Yeah, so I've had
Oh,
two and because I was young when I got them, I was I think 16 and 17 when I got them. Um
oh,
yeah, like my injuries happened in training. It wasn't even when I started wrestling.
oh, okay. So I understand. So like your bones are still growing at that age. So,
Yeah.
okay. So that makes a lot of sense as to why I feel like every time I talk to you when wrestling was still around, like you'd be like, oh, I dislocated my shoulder again.
Yeah, and like I didn't realize it either. That's why. But because I had them so young, like those surgeries so young, my muscles and everything, my bones, everything has grown since. So I haven't like the surgery has to now match up. Like all the work that was done has to match up to my body now as it's fully grown.
So what are you
Yeah,
thinking? Like, do you want to do another surgery or?
I have no idea. I don't like surgeries. I hate that. Like I've done it twice. I hate the feeling of being in a sling and not being able to do anything on my own.
Yeah.
Um, But like the idea of never having to worry about a dislocation again is
Yeah.
really nice. So I don't know what to do. And like those are like that's definitely my most serious wrestling injury ever. Like I've had a couple concussions, but I feel like the shoulder outweighs that.
Yeah. We're going to take a break from questions
Okay.
and we're going to play a game called Rapid Fire.
Oh dear.
So I'll say a word and you
Mhm.
say the first name that comes to mind of a wrestler, okay? I think it's just fun to see, it's just to hear everyone's answers and see kind of the type of style or the type of era that they were fans of. Anyway, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Drop kick.
Randy Orton.
Nice. Super kick.
Shawn Michaels.
Choke slam.
Kane.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So Josh says, crap, what did he say? I think he said Kevin Nash. No. Oh, I'm terrible. I don't even remember. But I'm like, yeah, I thought of Kane. Oh, wait. Did I think of Kane or Big Show? I don't even know what I said anymore. But I thought of Kane. Anyway, I like that you chose Kane because it wouldn't be an answer that, another person would expect. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but Kane seems like the obvious chokeslam choice to me. I don't know why, because there is the Big Show too, and like he does it pretty much every time.
Yeah. Okay, DDT.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Neck breaker.
Huh. I don't know. There's so many names that I'm like, and I just don't know. God, I really don't know. I can think of so many, but I can't think of a specific person.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now too, and I'm like, I'm blanking. And I wrote these down.
Because everyone's got a neck breaker. Everyone does neck breaker, or they all do them differently.
But like, did anyone have like, was anyone known for it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Shane Douglas for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right?
That's a good one. Yeah.
Okay. Moonsault.
Io Shirai.
Who? What?
Io Shirai.
Oh, Io Shirai. Your pause weirded me out there for a sec. Io Shirai. Yep. Good. Powerbomb.
Ooh, who's got a good powerbomb? Batista.
Oh, okay. I'm going to turn over to some fan questions for you. Do you have a hidden talent?
I don't know. I play the piano, but I don't know if that's a hidden talent.
Of course it is. I didn't even know you play the piano.
Like, okay, well then that's my hidden talent.
That's freaking good. What are you talking about? I should have had you play at our wedding.
I mean, I could have.
What is one piece of advice someone gave you that has stuck with you? Oh, I like that question.
Ooh. I honestly, the best piece of advice I think I got from someone, and I don't even take it a lot of the time, and I should. It was from Taylor Wilde, and she said, "Don't be afraid of annoying people," and because that's something that I struggle with all the time. I don't want to annoy promoters. I don't want to annoy wrestlers that I look up to and like can ask questions and ask about feedback.
Yeah,
but it's definitely something I struggle. I'm like, I don't want to be that annoying. Like, hey, can you watch my match? Hey, can I send you this? Hey, can you give me some feedback? But it's also the best advice because it helps you grow so much.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you said that because I also feel that way, but I always force myself to ask people. And now being a little bit smarter, people that you go to ask for, for advice and stuff, the good ones will actually appreciate it. And that's what we didn't know before. When we're thinking, oh, I don't want to annoy people. But, the good-hearted people, those are the ones, if you find them, those are the ones who will help the younger kids and all that stuff. So, yeah, I'd say that's great advice. Do you know what mine is? I wouldn't say I don't know if it would be like the greatest advice. It's definitely the funniest advice is that Scott D'Amore, he was the one who started booking me regularly for his shows. Mm-hmm. His advice to me, he said, yeah, you need to wear a lot more makeup. And from that day on, I like slapped eyeshadow, made like heavy eyeliner. Yeah. Later did I figure out on my own that you need it to pop so that everybody could see you in the audience from like, way over there or even for like cameras and stuff. So it's like, smart man. And then
Yeah.
later on in life, I told him that and he started laughing. He's like, I can't believe I told you that. I'm like, you know what? It was really good advice.
That is actually really good advice. You do need to wear a lot of makeup, and I definitely don't wear enough sometimes.
I don't. You know what? Like after I don't know what it is. Like after wrestling, like I just did more like basic. So like foundation, eyebrows, and I'm good
Mhm.
to go. And I was like, yeah, I'm digging this. I'm digging this. I don't care. I hate all the work that goes into it.
Me too. Like I hate that before a show, I will spend probably like an hour on hair and makeup. And like on my everyday life, I never wear it. So it's such like an extra chore sometimes
Yes,
to
exactly how
sit
I
and do it.
feel. And I'm not good at it. I just know like one style. And that's
Oh
the
yeah, me
only
too. I do
thing
the
I
same
do.
thing. Yeah.
Okay, phew. I don't feel like as bad that I should be knowing these things.
No, and I like in high school I took a cosmetology class purposely because I'm like, oh cool, I can use this to get a credit. Plus, I can learn how to do my makeup properly when I wrestle. And I did not use anything that I learned at all.
Will Detective Cookie Dough make a return to Backyard Pro?
I hope so. I've been bugging Vaughn Vertigo about doing another Backyard Pro, and I think we might. I don't want to, you know, say we're going to in case something happens, but I really like doing Detective Cookie Dough. It's a lot of fun, and Backyard Pro is a lot of fun to work on too. So I want to say maybe because I don't know for sure.
Let's all keep our fingers crossed because it was so entertaining. It was hilarious. And, you know, it was the perfect thing to watch while in quarantine. So I truly hope he does do it again. Now, tell us why you were Detective Cookie Dough. Did you come up with it?
I did not. Gabriel Flares that came up with Detective Cookie Dough actually. He wants because I was a private investigator for a little while, so he was like, "You have to do a detective gimmick. You have to do it." And
Yeah.
then I didn't want to do it because I'm like, it's kind of my job, and I don't know if I want to mix it together. It just feels weird. I don't know why, but I didn't want to do it. And then COVID came around, and everyone got let go from the company I work for, and then Backyard Pro started. So I'm like, well, I guess it's time to do a detective gimmick. And that's literally how it started. And it was just from there, I'm like, okay, what can I do as a detective? Like, I didn't want to be a super serious one because I could not pull it off, especially in the environment of Backyard Pro. I would not be able to stay serious. So I tried to make her as like cutesy, but like a little funny and like kind of good at her job as much as possible.
I loved it, but that's like you played it so well, but I loved it more because I knew you were a private investigator, you know, so it was just
Mhm.
like hilarious that way. But even if you were still doing it at the time, nobody else, fans don't know that about you. So, like,
Mhm.
either way, it would have been so good. You know, let's just say if you didn't want to do it, it was perfect. I loved it. Going off of that Survivor Series team, who would you pick? Like any wrestling character to be on your private investigator team?
Ooh, who would I want on my team? Like ever of all
Ever, ever,
time.
ever. But like
Oh my,
they have to be wrestling characters.
okay. I guess
Who-
being boss man.
Yep. Oh,
I
yep.
feel like that would
You
be a
need
good
him.
one.
Yep.
Yeah. Do I pick a whole team or just the one?
You got to do 5
Do
Survivor
I do
Series team.
5? Oh my God. Okay. Okay. So big boss man for sure. Who else would be good for Detective Cookie Dough's team? Um, See, I feel like I don't want to say Bastion Booger because like he's kind of gross, but like he just ate everything. And that kind of works with Detective Cookie Dough. So I'm
Who?
gonna
Sorry?
Bastion Booger. I don't do you remember him?
No, I'm
he's
just
just
like,
a
what?
he's just a big fat guy, and he wore like this really like it was like a white like it almost looked like BDSM like harness thing across his chest, and like really tight, tiny little weens. And he was just super gross. Like I have this really distinct memory in my mind of him just like eating hot dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so odd. I'm gonna have to look this guy up.
I've got a lot of weird, like old wrestling memories because I used to watch like I've been watching basically my whole life, but I would sit in the background and watch with like my brother. So when he was watching, I was just like picking up random things that were happening.
Oh my gosh.
Who else can I have on my team?
Ooh, how about the junkyard dog?
Yes, that's good.
He can sniff out some clues.
He can. Who else can I have? You know what? I'm gonna put Puff on there.
Puff!
Puff, I feel like would be perfect.
What could Puff add to your team? I'm curious.
I mean, he's got his donut thing, and you know what? We've teamed before, so I'm gonna say it's fine.
That's a good enough reason.
We've teamed before, and it's okay. And I don't know who else to pick. That's 4, right?
Yeah, that's 4. You need one
Wow,
more.
I picked 4 really big guys too.
Hey, that's gonna work in your favor big time.
It does, yeah. Need one more person. Who can I have? This is difficult. This is so.
I'm like going through my head. Okay, were there any like detective
Me
personas?
Too. There was a oh god, was there a burglar?
You said burglar, and I think of the McDonald's guy. So I don't know.
I do too, but I feel like there was like I don't remember. Never mind. I could swear there was. It's like
I'm thinking of
80s gimmick.
Okay, you said that, and I thought of the Brooklyn Brawler.
You know what? Let's go with the Brooklyn Brawler.
All right, there you go.
That's my team.
Solid team there. Solid team.
What a team.
Okay, let me grab another fan question here. Oh, rank the following bubblegum by favorite.
Okay.
Double Bubble, Hubba Bubba, Bubble Yum, Big League Chew, and Bubblicious. I did not realize how many bubblegum companies there were.
You know what? Until I started the Bubblegum Princess, neither did I. I'm gonna put Double Bubble at the top for sure.
Really? Isn't Double Bubble actually, like the thin one?
Yeah, Double 9. I'm gonna put Hubba Bubba at the top.
Yeah.
Hubba Bubba's at the top. Yeah. I think Bubble Yum's at the bottom for sure.
Yeah, it tasted gross, right?
Yeah, Bubble Yum's at the bottom. What are the other 3?
Big League Chew, Bubblicious, and Double Bubble.
Okay, so it's gonna go Hubba Bubba, Bubblicious, Big League Chew, Double Bubble, Bubble Yum.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Bubble Yum was disgusting.
I tried it once just because there was literally no other options. I'm like, I need gum. So I tried it. I'm like, this was the worst idea ever. I just should be more prepared from now on.
And like Double Bubble, more times I would get it like hard, and it sucked trying to chew that down.
Yeah, like you get them in like for the Halloween candies. And they look like they're stale.
Ugh. Parents giving us last year's Halloween candy.
I got popcorn seasoning one year, so I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'd take the stale bubble gum.
Popcorn, but like what seasoning did you get?
I don't. What was it? It was some kind of like garlicky flavor. I remember, like, I got to the house. Yeah, I got to the house, and the guy literally just grabbed something from behind the door and put it in the bag. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, cool. Like, there were kids before me too. I'm like, run out of candy? Is he just giving out this stuff?
Garlic flavored popcorn powder. Okay, yeah. That's and would that be like the worst Halloween treat you got?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've always had good candies. Those houses that would give like a whole can of pop, I was like, oh.
You got pop?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're lucky.
Oh yeah. But it was heavy. It was like a good and bad thing. Because we're like, oh yeah, I got pop. But then, oh, it's so heavy. Gotta go dump my bag and come back out. Yeah, I don't know the worst candy. But that garlic popcorn thing is like, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, and like my street, because like I don't live on like a very, very big street, so people usually give out the big candy bars because I guess they feel bad that all these kids don't get
that too. Yeah, pop cans and candy bars, the best.
But like for this one guy to get popcorn season, I'm like, what happened? Like, why? What was your thought process? Like, I would have taken like a fruit over that.
Was he creepy?
No, like he was like a young like dude. I think they were having like a party or something, so he just grabbed whatever and tossed it in.
Ah, drunk dude.
Yeah.
Let's talk about making friends in the business. When you first started out, did you have any friends? Like, did you make any friends along the way? Now let's just talk about the very beginning.
So the very beginning, I got again like the all girls class. I got really lucky. I made a couple of friends in that class. One didn't stick with wrestling, but like we still talk. The other one was Aaliyah. So I mean, we did almost everything together up until she got signed, and then even now we talk all the time.
Oh, that's
But
good. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like I always have her as a friend, and we've had each other for since the beginning. But in terms of like everyone else, I was really again like I was really lucky with Squared. I met Fuerza and Vertigo pretty quickly,
Hmm.
and they're like I talk to them almost more than anybody than I do now.
Yeah.
Like they're two of my closest friends. Um, and yeah, like I've been really lucky, especially recently, just to like meet people and connect with them. Because there was a while where like I didn't really talk to anyone inside wrestling. Like I just like I'd wrestle and then I'd go live my own life.
Yeah.
Um, but I've definitely like I've got a big group of wrestling friends, and even you, like you're in that group, Josh is in that group. That I
Oh.
just yeah, true.
No, deep down I was like, I better be.
You, I've been to your house so many times. What do you mean? Of course you are.
We watched Mulan.
We did.
I loved it.
I
Everybody
did
else,
too.
everybody else didn't. No, not
There,
no, everybody like in like Twitter world or whatever.
yeah, but they expect too much.
I loved it.
I did too. Like I liked that it wasn't a direct, like just a live
Copy.
action copy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, like people want that. And then people judge like, oh, they didn't do it this way. And it's like you can't just enjoy like one's a cartoon and one's real life, you know?
Yeah. People, they didn't want a remake to happen because they're like, oh, well, the original's, you can't beat the original. And then the remake comes out and they're like, oh, well, it's not the same as the original. Like, you didn't want the remake of the original, like for copy exactly.
I loved it. I enjoyed it. I can't remember if I teared up or not at like one point.
I did. So I would feel better knowing that you
Okay,
did.
then I probably did too. Okay, so you said you have a big circle of close friends now. Did you kind of cross paths with like catty people, with just like gross people at
Oh
all?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you did?
Yeah, for sure. Like people that like, really difficult to work with, people that kind of just didn't really care about anyone else other than themselves. And
Mhm.
I get that this is a business that you sometimes have to be selfish in, but you really have to take care of the people around you.
And just be like a good human being. I mean,
Yeah. Like
like
and it's not
it's
hard to do.
exactly. So how do you deal with, when you run into people like that?
I get stressed super easily and it's really bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I hate dealing with people. I really do. Like people that I don't click with, it gets stressful because I don't like in my head it just seems so like obvious to not be like catty and rude and selfish and all those things.
Yep.
But I just so when other people start to do it, I don't want to be the one to be like, "Hey, don't do that," because I don't want to start a problem.
Mhm.
But it's also like eating me up inside that I like they're just acting this way and I'm not doing anything about it.
Did you find that happen a lot in like earlier in your career or later, or like you would meet somebody like that every now and then?
Definitely like early to like I guess midway through where I am now.
Yeah. Okay. And that to me is like the state of what wrestling was for, the female side.
Hmm.
Because right now, there's a big difference. Right now, there's a lot more respect. And even I did not think it would be like that here. Now, you're talking about like in Canada mostly, right?
Um, a mix of both because like I was working with Aaliyah most of my time here and like
Mhm.
every now and then a few different people. Up until I started going to the US and when I started working with a couple of different people and like so definitely around that time it was just there'd be new people that I would meet that would just seem like really catty. And again, I don't even know if it was because I was new and like they didn't know me.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect, or like they didn't think I was any good.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't like a specific spot. It wasn't a specific person. It was just like every now and then it would be a random person.
Yeah, I just don't get people. Like, it's
No.
not hard. It's not hard to be just nice. Hey, if you want to get your stuff in and it's like that's super important to you, just say it. But like, you don't have to be rude about it. And you don't, yeah, I just, those times, like in like 2005-ish,
Hmm.
2004, 2005, it was like so bad. Just the cattiness and just, it almost broke me down. And I don't know, I honestly don't understand where I got any of my strength from. Now I'm just like, I can't believe how I was able to go off into the States and like do all these things all on my own and be so far away from home. At that time, I was like, yeah, I'm doing my thing. I'm just going along, riding the wave. And now I'm like, oh, that's like terrifying. I don't know if it like comes with older age or what, but
Yeah, you're brave. I could never just go off and do it on my own.
no, I'm saying it like I wouldn't do that now. Like that's scary. And and adding catty people to it, it's just awful. I'd say that was the worst part of wrestling for me. That
Mhm.
just having to cross paths with so many of the type of people. Ugh, I don't know. It's anyway. Let's get back on a happy note. Who is your dream opponent, male or female?
Ooh. Okay, I have one for both. Male, it's either Eddie or Ray.
Yep.
Female, it's or Io or Beth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to play this or that. I will say two things,
Mhm.
and you will tell me which one you prefer. It's pretty simple.
Sounds
This
good.
or
I like
that.
simple games.
All right, burgers or pizzas?
Pizza.
This isn't part of the game, but what do you like on your pizza?
A Hawaiian pizza.
Oh
Pineapple,
my
ham.
gosh. No, yes. I like my arms are up in the air because I am so happy that you are pro pineapple. Okay.
I hate when people are like, oh, pineapple's gross. I'm like, no, I can think of way grosser things to put on a pizza than a sweet, delicious pineapple.
Exactly. I'm like, have you tried it? For sure haven't tried it to
My
say
dad
that
puts
it's bad.
anchovies on his pizza, and you're gonna tell me that pineapple's gross?
Exactly. Yes, I'm so happy you said that. Okay. Would you lose the ability to read or speak?
Speak. Yeah, I'm shy already. I'd rather not talk than
Oh.
I'd rather read.
Then how are you? Okay, so if you're shy to speak, how are you with promos?
Awful. I hate doing promos. I get through them and like sometimes they're pretty good, but man, it is rough for me.
Okay, but how about doing like interviews?
Interviews are better. I like having someone to bounce off of. I hate solo things.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. I always feel like I'm embarrassed or something.
I just like I guess like with an interview or like even when a promo with someone else, I just feel like it's easier to like relax and be more natural. Whereas just a standard promo where I'm standing in front of a camera, I'm like, this is so unnatural.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
such an odd feeling.
Would you rather live in Harry Potter's universe or Pokemon's universe?
Oh, Pokemon, 100%.
Oh, I thought you were like also a big Harry Potter fan. Maybe I was wrong.
No, I tried to get into it, but my sister had tried to show me all the movies at once, and it was too much for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that question didn't work out. I for sure thought you were a Harry Potter fan. Okay.
No, I'm a big Pokemon fan though.
I definitely know that. Okay, would you rather live one life that lasts 1,000 years or live 10 lives that lasts 100 years each?
Ooh. Now, would I remember anything from the previous lives?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's say no.
No. I think I'm still gonna go the 10 lives.
10 lives.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd be as a like a super super old lady. Like if I'd be mobile or not. And I like even with the shoulder, like how I said, I hate not being able to
Oh
do
my
things. I
gosh.
hate not being able to move. So if I'm like just this immobile old woman, I don't think I'd be able to take it.
I was thinking living the one life
Yeah.
because I, you know, I love my life. Like I am, like obviously everybody goes through hardships and stuff, but like that's where we grow. And I would keep my one life.
I mean,
Like it could be because I'm also a boring person. And so
you you just said you left as soon as you finished high school, you went to the States to start wrestling, and you're gonna tell me you're a boring person.
okay. I'm I take it back. I'm boring now. Now I'm boring.
No,
We'll
you're a
see.
cool mom now.
Thank you. Okay, would you rather stop time or be able to fly?
Ooh. I think I'd like to fly.
Oh, I'm terrified of heights, so that would not be me.
I'm not. I think it's a like I don't think maybe I could be wrong, but I don't think many like really short people are scared of heights.
Oh, is that a thing?
I don't know because I know a lot of tall people are scared of height, like they're scared of climbing and like stuff like that. Or I personally know a lot of tall people that are scared of climbing and all that. But like for me, like when I go to the top rope, I'm more scared. Like it's scary to like fall. But like up there, like, oh, this isn't that bad. But I don't know if it's because when I'm up there, it's, a foot and a half less than everybody else.
Oh, that's one way of looking at it. But have you done any like skydiving or anything like that? Like crazy?
No, craziest thing I've done is I've gone to the CN Tower and just like looked down through the glass floor.
You stepped on it?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't. No, no, I
It can
could not.
hold, I think, like how many hippos or elephants? They tell you it's fine.
I Okay. Did they actually say that?
Yeah, they specifically said like they can hold like it's either elephants or hippos, but it can hold a lot of them.
Oh, okay. If I knew that at the time, I've been up there like a couple times or something.
Mhm.
I think I would have. No, no, no,
No, still no.
no, no, no. I thought about it and no, I can't. I'm not deathly terrified, but I am terrified. I hated every time getting up on the top rope. It's just,
Really?
yeah, yeah. I hate heights. And I know for one of the shows for Super Kicked, I had to climb a ladder.
Yeah, you had to jump from a very high place.
So like it felt okay. So the spot was I was supposed to jump off the ladder and give a hurricane rana, right?
Mhm.
As I'm climbing, I'm like, oh my God, this is like really high. Okay, one more step. Okay, I can do one more step. I'm like, oh, that's it. That's it. I'm like talking to myself,
Mhm.
saying this stuff. I look back at pictures. I'm like, wow, I don't even think I made it to like half the ladder.
Really?
It felt so high, honestly. And then even when I turned around, I'm like, oh, this is really high. But the picture, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't even think I made it. I probably made it to just halfway of that ladder. And I'm like, wow,
But
that's super embarrassing.
how tall was the ladder?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. But that's a good question. I'm going to say very tall.
Because if it's a tall ladder, then halfway is still pretty high up.
Ugh, scary. I will never do like skydiving, none of that. Is that something that you would do?
No, because I'm scared of like something going wrong. Like I'm not scared of the height. I'm scared of, oh, my parachute doesn't go.
Yeah, yeah. No, not for me. Not for me. Would you rather be super fast or super strong?
Super super strong.
Well, the thing is, you are super strong.
I'm
You're
not
like,
though.
hey, did you ever think about entering bodybuilding
I
and like
have.
lifting stuff? Yeah? Have you
Yeah,
have you done it?
I don't have the motivation to diet properly.
It's
That's honestly the only reason why. Because my diet now is just trying to eat healthy and not eat like chocolate every day, and that's a struggle.
oh, what's your go-to
Yeah.
chocolate?
Oh my God. So right now, I don't know why we have this big box of like Lindt chocolates in my house.
Oh, you
I've
got
been
like the good chocolate.
Yeah, so it's good chocolate right now in my house. And I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it's here, but no one's eating it except for me. So every day I like take one, and it's very hard to like I try to not, but it's very hard to resist that box.
Oh my gosh. They're probably like, "Oh, someone really likes the chocolate. I'm just gonna buy more then." And then
I really hope not. Like I would expect my dad to do that. Like he'll see, oh, it's gone, let me buy more. But I really hope he doesn't.
so now, hopefully, this whole pandemic and quarantining and lockdowns here in Ontario, they're set to be lifted tomorrow. What's the one thing that if you were able to do it tomorrow, what would you go do tomorrow if
Um,
everything just opened up?
ooh, I mean, besides wrestling and training, because like I feel like those are just like the one thing everyone kind of wants to do right
Mhm.
now,
Yeah.
it's get a haircut.
Yes. Okay. I'm with you on that. I'm
My
with you on that.
ends are fried and it's not pretty.
So with the pandemic, did you not just like build your own gym pretty much? Like
Yeah.
I remember in the beginning you started off with like just a bar.
Hmm.
You were making like your own weights with something.
Yeah.
And now I see you and you've got like all these machines and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to a gym anymore because you're like all set.
I mean, I don't need to. The only thing I really need to go to a gym for is the extra motivation because when I work out at home, I stop every maybe 10 minutes because I have the TV on in the background just for like background noise, but I have wrestling on. So I literally stop and watch.
And,
Um,
and you got the chocolates there.
and I've got the chocolates up. Yeah, I've literally got the chocolates right there too. So it's hard. But yeah, like I basically told my parents. My dad was like, we don't need any equipment because he had a Bowflex that he'd finally gotten rid of that he was trying to get rid of at the time. We had a treadmill that no one ever used for years that he was trying to get rid of. Um, so he's like, no more workout equipment, and I'm like, well, I need it. So I literally like I bought like stands from Walmart. I asked him like, can you either make me a bar or can I like get one and you won't get mad at me for it? So he literally cut a bar from a piece of pipe. I
Wow.
put yeah, I put like copper wire rolls on each side as weight, and then I bought a couple plates, and yeah, like I've literally just been like getting dumbbells, kettlebells, literally whatever I can at the time, just so I've got everything I need.
Good for you. Well, you've got like a sick setup though. I'm like just dreaming of working out in your
I
space.
mean, you're welcome whenever. Let me know.
Can a toddler run around?
I've got I have so many toddler toys in my house from my nieces. Like it's fine. He's got everything to play with.
So you got a little daycare there too then.
Oh yeah, it's literally like at least once a week. It's a full daycare in this house. There's a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a newborn. So
Aw. Once the pandemic is over, what can we hopefully see from you?
um, I mean, I've been trying out some new things at training. So well, when the few times I can go to training. So hopefully those new things I can show. I'm looking at new gear. Just trying to improve upon and like try out new things. I guess that's what you can expect. I don't really know match wise what's going to happen, but definitely a new version of me.
Awesome. Well, your gear is always amazing. So
Oh,
you have
thank
like no problem there.
you.
I'm excited to see your new moves. I want to see. Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for sharing your story of you early on getting into the business. You know I love you. I'm going to be cheering you on and I can't wait to see you.
I can't wait to see you too.
I want this thing to be over.
Me too. I can't wait until the day where everything is. I guess it's only, I don't know if it'll be back to normal, but like as close as it'll ever be.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I had fun. I like talking to you.
I like talking to you too. That's it for episode 2. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at jchung11. Give Alexia Nicole a follow too on Instagram, Alexia Nicole, and on Twitter, it's Alexia Nicole. Remember to see you next Tuesday, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Join my Patreon for early access at patreon.com/jadechung. Until next time, see you next Tuesday.